Hello, I'm Georgia Harrod, Senior Concept Designer for the UK, based in London. I'm here today to talk you through the EGI Design Services presentation. This is a lunch and learn that myself and my colleague Rhiannon in the concept design team have been taking out to our clients across the UK for the last year or so now. And it's all about showing our clients how we can support them day to day with their projects. The presentation I'm going to show you today is the commercial version of the Lunch and Learn. We then have a hospitality version, which also has an introduction into colour tech as well, where that's kind of more relevant for our hospitality clients. Each presentation that we create, we offer with a very loose script to follow. So if our account managers are out on the road presenting this and we're not there, they have all of the information they need to do the full presentation, or they can just take elements of these presentations and use specific slides for more kind of focused client meetings. So hopefully if you guys find this useful today, you'll have the same access to that script as well, so you can take this information and present it to your clients how you see fit. Another nice thing to note is that usually we present these in person and we have a beautiful tabletop of products to go alongside it, which we kind of tailor depending on the clients that we're seeing and the kind of products that they tend to use. So you can all use your imagination as you listen to this presentation, that you've got a nice kind of fuzzy, fluffy tabletop in front of you. But we can share some photos of what those setups tend to look like when we do these in-person lunch and learns. But for now, I'm going to share the presentation with you. So this is the EGI Carpets Design Services Lunch and Learn, and I'm going to talk you through how we can kind of support you day to day with our concept design services. I'm also going to take you through one of our design concepts called Highline and how we can work with this in different ways to create different levels of bespoke design. And then I'm going to hand you over to your account manager, who is going to talk you through sustainability at EGI at the end of the presentation. So at EGI, as you may already know, we are a Danish carpet manufacturer and we create wall-to-wall carpets, carpet tiles and rugs. Our main sectors are hospitality, workplace design and education spaces. And we're also starting to see a rise in requests for high-end residential kind of public areas as well, where they're starting to create more of that kind of bespoke hospitality feel in these areas. So it's a new area we're starting to explore. So our design portfolio of products is made up of 8 different concepts to choose from. So we're not going to touch on all of these today, but there's different ways that we can work with you with these concepts. So what you can see in the imagery here is some standard patterns and some standard products that we can help you kind of build a product palette around and really utilise these in a very bespoke feeling way within your space. Or we can create completely bespoke designs with you. Really bespoke to the projects and the clients you're working with, so custom colours and custom patterns. We can go as far as kind of tying into matching wall designs that you have in your spaces. Or we can create bespoke combinations of standard qualities and textures to create a really big impact on the floor. So hopefully just from these 30 slides, you can see that however far you can push your creative brief, we can facilitate that. So how do we get to creating these beautiful floors? There's a couple of different ways that we can work together, depending on where you're at with your project, but we would always kind of recommend getting us involved as early on in the process as you can, and that gives us the most time to really push the creative development and see what options that we can explore with you. So it could be that the early stages you've kind of still working on different ideas, colour story isn't maybe completely finalised, and you've got a couple of different concepts to really whittle down. We can create these digital mood boards within 1 to 2 working days of receiving your creative brief, and hopefully kind of help narrow down that process for you. So we can create these about colour stories, kind of more installation inspiration. We can show you case studies of other projects we've done that are similar to give you inspiration here as well, and really start to kind of tell that story to your clients. So these are actually pages that hopefully can just go straight into your design packs and really start to introduce that concept to your client clients and really get that kind of creativity across to them. Or you may actually know the product that you want to use, but you need more of that kind of layout specific inspiration, especially when it comes to our tile products. We have different formats available. So we have a 48 by 48 centimetre tile. Then we have a 96 by 96 centimetre tile, which works really well if you want to create more of a broad loom effect with less seams in maybe more of a pattern design. And then we have a plank that sits into the same modularity as well. So lots of different ways to use the same products, and we can really help steer you in the right direction for how to get the best out of the product and the pattern that you've chosen. And we can help with, again, concept development all the way through to kind of installation help here as well. And we can kind of push that even further with more custom shapes as well. So we have a Figura shape system, which is basically almost like a stencil that works into all of our standard ranges to create the kind of shapes that you can see on the screen here. So this is quite a nice concept to explore if you have quite a limited colour palette within a space, but you still want to create something that feels very unique and really still creates a very big impact in the space. And again, we can help explore exactly the specific design you want for these spaces and support all the way through to install. So as we start to refine your designs, we can produce these kind of small area design layout sketches for you. So these are all kind of, again, about whittling down that concept. So all we need from you at this point is a clean DWG file, and just turn everything off apart from the wall layer and the furniture layer. And then we can create these to scale, high quality rendered floor plan sketches, so you can really start to see how your different designs are coming together in the same space, whether that's wall to wall, carpet tiles or rugs. You really start to see that concept come together. We can, see from this point if there's key furniture pieces that we need to highlight, key circulation routes that we need to highlight. All of this kind of part of the process is about, identifying these key kind of conceptual areas that we need to develop. And then once one of these kind of smaller scale sketches is signed off, we can then apply that across the whole floor plate. And another way that we can kind of help to visualize these designs as they start to come together is through our 3D room sets. So we have 30 different room sets available for you to choose from. So hopefully there's something there that's similar to the kind of space that you're creating. And then just, again, really allows you to kind of really start to understand how these designs will look within a space. This is especially useful if we start to look at more custom designs, and it could be you've maybe only got 1 or 2 physical samples of different elements of that pattern. This is a really great tool to put forward to your client for them to start to visualize that kind of bespoke pattern across a bigger expansive space. And alongside the mood boards and the small floor plan sketches, everything really starts to kind of bring that whole story together and tell that concept in a really clear, concise way for your clients. And that brings me on to talking to you about the Highline design concept and the different ways that we can use that. So as I mentioned, we have 8 different design concepts within our design portfolio, and we're not going to cover all those today, but Highline, anything you see with the name Highline at the beginning, is where you have the possibility to customize in lots of different ways. So we've kind of put this into 3 different routes, depending on the level of customization that we need to achieve. So route 1 is choosing a standard design from one of 7 different express collections. As you can see here, we've got them categorized into different catalogs for you to make it really easy to browse. So you've got essentials, arts and crafts, nature, graphic, cultures and classic. And then there's also a tiles and planks brochure, which is amalgamating all the best designs from these collections, which work really well for tiles and planks. And then we also have 3 different designer collections where we've collaborated with Christian Lacroix, Brunklaus and Tom Dixon. So there's thousands of different patterns for you to choose from here, all available in different colourways and different scales. And route 1 is literally taking one of these designs as you see them. The example we have here is the Tom Dixon Tide design. And you can see here you choose the format that you need it in, whether you're using a wall-to-wall or a tile version of the design. And then you choose the quality that you want to put that design onto. So within the Highline concept, we have 9 different qualities to choose from. We have 80/20 wall blends, which you can see on the top line, and then we have regenerated nylon options in cut pile and loop piles of various different heights. So again, this is part of the process where we'll help steer you in the right direction for the correct quality for the space that we're putting the carpet into and the kind of design that you need to achieve. So that's all part of kind of whittling down exactly what that concept is going to be. And actually a really great tool to know about is that this is where your pricing structure sits with anything that sits within a standard design within Highline. So when we're looking at Route 1 and Route 2, anything that we're looking at from a standard design, the quality that you put it on is what determines the price. So it actually means that you can value engineer within your own projects should your budget get cut, which from a design perspective, I think is amazing because it means we don't have to give up that design intent. We can keep the same design and just put it on a quality with less yarn, save some money, but keep that design intent. And we also have two different backings to choose from. If you go for a wall-to-wall design, you have a woven textile or an integral acoustic backing, and then the carpet tiles all come with a recycled plastic bottle backing. So here you have some examples of what those installations might look like. There's actually quite a bespoke feeling to each of these before we've actually done any kind of design changes, because you're never going to get exactly the same design chosen with the same quality in the same colours or even in the same format. So we've got quite a few unique options here before we've actually had to change the design at all. So you can see we've got the design as an inset rug within a concrete floor. We have it as a loose stay rug with a bound edge. We have it as the tile design that you can see on the bottom left. So the broadloom is chopped up and turned into tiles, so the pattern becomes more kind of graphic. And then we have the wall-to-wall kind of traditional broadloom installation in the boardroom, as you can see here. And then actually what you can see in the top at the centre kind of introduces us into Route 2, which is where we can start to recolour these standard designs. So we would start the same way. We would, from Route 1 to Route 2, we would choose a design from one of the standard collections, whether that's the Express collections or some designs within the designer collections. You choose a quality that you want to be working with, and then we look to one of 4 of our standard colour palettes. So anything that we're doing here, as I kind of mentioned just before, when we're looking at a standard design and a standard recolour, there's no upcharge. So we can change from one standard colour palette to another with no upcharge for you. We have 4 different colour palettes to choose from. They're all made up of 12 base colours, which are the larger chips that you can see. And then from these 12 base colours in each palette, you have over 60 different accent colours to choose from. So real kind of creative freedom here in terms of getting the exact kind of colours that you need. We can also create special colour palettes, which is where you might take elements of 2 different standard palettes and combine them. And we can also do full colour matches at our in-house colour lab as well. So if you do have really specific colours to match to with like branding colours or anything like that, we can do that through our colour lab as well. And here we have a few examples of what the kind of possibilities of recolouring can create. So we have the washed marble pattern from the Tiles and Planks booklet here, and you can see we've kind of gone for this kind of faded washed green colour, and you can see we've got the scale of the design and kind of showing you what that tile pattern looks like across a 4-metre width. And then we have all of the different base colours and accent colours that have been used to create this colour palette for this recolour. And then we have one of our 3D room sets being used to show you what that pattern looks like at the right scale within an office setting. And then we have another example here where we actually can start to combine more of these recolours together when we're looking at tile design. So we've got the stonewash pattern here, and we've created 2 kind of tonal blue recolours. And again, we've got the same print showing the different scale, the 2 different recolours and all the colours that have been used to create that from the colour palette. We've got the 3D room set, and we've also got the high-res JPEG, which can be used as a repeat, put into your own 3D renders as well. So if you're working on something bespoke, this is a really great way to really start to visualise that within the space. So these are all outputs that we as a design team are here to create for you as you're working on everything from the ground up. But sometimes it is quite nice to have a little play around with these elements yourself. It could be that you've got a quick turnaround with a client and you really just need to get some initial ideas amongst you and your team figured out. And this is actually something that you have access to at this level through the recoloring tool on our website. So I have a very short video to share with you now on how that works. So once you have found the pattern on the website, you're going to kind of search the same way as you would through the catalogues, or you can search for designs through the website. You can see here kind of an introduction to what this looks like. So there's the recoloring tool allows you to create different visuals. So here you're choosing your design, you're pressing create your tile design. You can see all the different formats that the tile is available in. So you've got the different sizes there and the different formats. And then here you've got lots of different drop-down options to kind of shop as many different highline patterns together as you want to in the different colorways. And then the recoloring tool here allows you to change those colors. So the light bulb at the side there, you can highlight exactly which elements of the pattern you're changing. You can also change from one palette to a different one really simply through a different button within the creator. And then you can go to the tile creator tool and start to customize different layouts. So here you can use the selection mode, or you can kind of create more randomized patterns and start to kind of delineate different spaces in the floor. And then this is where you choose the different 3D room set that you want to visualize your design in. And then you can see here your configuration. So you're going to get the PDF, the high-res JPEG, and the 3D room set that you've chosen. And obviously that's a very sped up version of what's possible, but it kind of just shows you, once you've kind of got the hang of it, how easy it can be to use the recoloring tool on the website. And what it does show you at the end of that video is that you can order samples directly at that point from the website, which is a great tool. But we would suggest always, once you've received all of those outputs from the configuration into your inbox, they get there within a few minutes of completing your design work. Once you've got these PDFs, get in touch with your account manager and we can just check over them and make sure that we're using the correct colorways, the correct palette for the design that you're trying to achieve, and that the quality that you're wanting to use is, again, the correct one for the space and the budget that you're working towards. And then whilst you're waiting for your samples to arrive, I think it's really key to know that you can actually use the chips from each of the colour palettes. They all pop out. So it means that if you're still waiting to receive your samples, or if you actually do like a big bulk of different recolours to start with before you've even ordered samples, you can lay them out in the order that it shows you at the bottom of the prints, and just start to get a visual understanding of how those colours are going to look within the design, if we need to make any changes, and again, really kind of help whittle down those ideas before we get into sampling. So that's route 2 with recolouring. Route 3, which is the final stage, is all about complete freedom of design. So this is where we talk about special design and special colours coming together. So for this part of the presentation, I have a beautiful case study to share with you. It's not the most commercial or everyday presentation, but I think it really shows how far we can take a brief and what this creative process looks like with Highline. So this is a project from an art exhibition that we created the floor for BRAFA in 2022. This is an art exhibition that happens every year in Belgium. So we commissioned this artist that you can see on the left-hand side to create these abstract painterly pieces. They were then scanned in and kind of manipulated in Photoshop and recoloured, the same as you've just seen them on the website example there actually. And that allows us to create a production print from these photographic elements. So that's what you can see on the right hand side of the screen here, and also some more examples of different elements of the design on the left that turned into production prints. And then what you can see on the right hand side is what we call Samtrons, which are samples from the Millitron machine, which is how all of our Highline products are made. These are meter by a meter. So when we get into designing something on a big scale with a really bespoke design, we can give you a really big sample area to start to understand exactly how your design looks. This will come with the quality that you've chosen, and actually on this special palette you can see all the different colour chips along the bottom for approval as well. So these become like your sign-off samples. And again, this is a really good tool to put towards your clients alongside the 3D visuals and everything we've already looked at in today's presentation, then to understand how that concept is coming together alongside our design layout service as well, which again is giving you a really good sense of colour and scale. So at this point, we can decide if key elements are sitting in the wrong space, if anything needs to be scaled up or scaled down or moved around in any way. Again, it's a really good visual tool to understand exactly how the pattern is going to look in situ. And this is the design going through the Millitron machine, which is how all of our Highline carpets are coloured. So they start off life at one end of the machine as a white top cloth in whichever Highline quality you've chosen. And then the patterns are dye injected onto the carpet quality. So it goes, the dye goes from one side of the carpet through the carpet yarn and out the other side using really, really high pressure. So actually on anything production level, if you cut the yarns in half, the yarns are fully saturated in colour. So we achieve the same kind of wear ratings as you'd get on anything solution dyed, but the dye injection process gives us much more creative freedom in terms of what we can achieve. So the dye injection machine has around 40,000 individual ink jets that are all controlled through water pressure, which we can manipulate as we need to depending on the design. And that means that we can achieve these really high quality, kind of almost like photo-like quality effects on the floor. As you can see here, we can see the individual brush strokes. We can create really subtle, very realistic feeling watercolor-like effects on the floor and really, really soft color bleeds and color gradients. So here you can see the designs installed on the site. Again, we can see that photo-like quality, and we're not limited by the scale of the space either. The Millitron machine is 4 meters wide and so long that our wonderful staff have bikes to get up and down the side of the machinery in the factory. So we can really work to a big scale to create a beautiful high impact on the floor. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, we can support you right the way through from concept through to production and installation. So these are the kind of documents that you'll get from us when we work on special designs with you. So these are the design layouts, rollouts and quantifications from the Braffa installation. So you can see everything is color coded and numbered. We can offer kind of pre-cut areas to avoid on wastage. And again, we can keep that creative control all the way through. It's not up to a flooring contractor to decide where key elements of a design will sit. We can keep that design integrity from initial concept right the way through to installation. And this is possible whether that's a wall-to-wall design that we've created for you or a more tile-based design as well. So you can see here an example that we have is the reform transition pattern, and we've delineated exactly where the mixed tiles need to sit in this space to create this circulation route through the offices. And we've also then given you a quantification for each of the different products in the space. So that in a nutshell is the kind of day-to-day of how we can work to you from a concept design perspective and the kind of services and support that we can offer. As well as that day-to-day support, we then attend and participate in trade shows across the UK and Europe. We look at the key trends that we're seeing with a focus on flooring and patterns. And that then means that we can kind of bring that research to our wider design teams and our colleagues across Europe and our MPD teams, our product development teams, to ensure that everything that we're creating, whether it's a new reform product or a new design for our Highline catalogues, everything is kind of relevant to the key trends and what we know that you guys need as our clients. And it also means that we then have a bank of different trend reports to share with you guys, which we could share at the end of the presentation, and a bank of inspiration to get us started. So hopefully when you do have that creative project to come to us with, we can get started straight away and look at that inspiration with you. So that's everything from me. At this point in the presentation, I would hand over to your account manager, and then we have some slides on sustainability, which we would then kind of just cherry pick the bits of information that we need to for each client, depending on the kind of projects they work on and which pieces of information are most relevant to those clients. So these are the pages from the sustainability brochure. So we can talk about our cradle to cradle certification, the plastic bottle backings, our different certifications and our different schemes that we have in place. and of course EEGI, Circle Back, and our kind of recycling programs as well. So that is it. That's kind of a tour through our commercial Lunch and Learn. I hope you find that useful, and there's some things in there that are kind of going to be good tools for you to talk about our services with your clients. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. And as I said, we'll share with you some kind of more imagery on what are behind the scenes of these presentations look like in person, and give you some kind of tabletop inspiration as well. But thank you for listening today, and hope to hear from you soon.